Hello everyone, welcome back. So much is changing so quickly, so rapidly. Because of that, because of the the space between the old reality and the new reality, this corridor of moving from one thing to the next is getting more narrower and narrower every single day, or at least that's what I experience inside. I want to stress another important thing, which is accessing truth and what that means. I was like 15, 16 years ago or something like that, maybe more, when I was reading A Course in Miracles. And back then, as I was reading, I sensed that the truth in those words, but I couldn't access it. Like there was a wall that it's like I would read, but I couldn't activate that understanding like inside me. And since then I've done, of course, a lot of other things that led to at some point becoming available inside me, this not just knowing, but what I call the God mind, the universal language, and having direct access to that and to the truth. And of course, a lot of things have happened, the experiences, more or less horrible things as well, but also good things, which, well, that was meant to be. But anyway, so reaching this point of like having this access, direct access to what I call God mind or universal language, universal database, knowing source. I was just, after that, I was reading like randomly a few, I don't know, paragraphs, just like I was just testing to see what was there. And as I was reading in there, in the book, I realized that now actually my awareness could translate what was there into like a, before that was like a 2D, like what I could actually understand was like this 2D, I was seeing the written thing, and then all of a sudden there was the experience of that. And I was like, oh, so this comes from this level, because now I could actually have access to that level where that information came from, where that knowing, that teaching, that truth, information were actually being transmitted down here. Well, at the level where I was reading 15, 16 years ago. And I know most people can't have access yet. And because they don't have access yet, they cannot really get what's there. And it's still, they might try to understand it with the limited understanding available, or until now what's been available. And it's frustrating because like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Or it makes, but it doesn't bring me forward. What I understood as I was like reading randomly these things is like, yes, now I know. This comes from this level that I've reached, and in order for somebody to actually understand these things, one must do something to actually move from that level of like being in front of information that is like a wall, and have to have the key to activate those words so you can actually get the actual experience behind those words. I gave you an example with I don't know, a few years ago, as I was shown about the limitation of language down here, where basically how we speak, how we think, how we interpret things is like, think of like writing, and writing is in 2D. Whereas concepts and ideas and things like that are not 2D or 3D or more, whatever. They have a space and a volume about it, and they mean so much more. And you only see a representation in 2D and you think that that's it. And it's incorrect to actually think that's it, and I know and I understand. And for me, my codes allow me even back then is like, yeah, that's true, but I cannot access it. It's like, even if I would like to right now, I don't have the key, the secret key to actually unlock that knowledge inside. It's like to internalize it. And what I want to say is that with all of this is that the truth, the universal truths, the inner revelations that most people want and aspire to have those experiences, well, it's a process. It's a process of cleaning oneself. And I always emphasize that the importance of cleaning oneself. But more than that, there was also a misconception that universal truth and all this like spiritual things can be accessed only if one run away from civilization and go into a cave and disappear somewhere completely isolated and whatever. Be like a caveman and, I don't know, try to commune with God. And this comes from a time where, at the beginning of reaccretion in this time-space matrix, where there was much less energy, which meant, I mean, translated as reality, less concepts, less ideas, less awareness of things, and everything was much more simpler. And when you think, okay, I'm going to remove myself from, I don't know, my village and go into, I don't know, I'm like a monk somewhere, whatever, it was much easier to unplug. But then again, also that reality was very limited and what it meant as in like life. And there's this prejudice that only this kind of like way of going about like trying to find this universal truth, accessing this kind of like universal truth, is just by completely remove yourself from everything around you. And sometimes you need to simplify your life. You will be forced, if it's in your destiny, in your journey for something like this to happen. Trust me, this will happen with or without your conscious help. However, when you become conscious, when you understand that this is actually about something else, it's about bringing this kind of understanding into your own life, where you are, how things are, because now it's not about anymore of running away from things. Yes, if it's necessary, one can help him or herself, by creating a specific environment, external or internal, that will allow one to actually explore other things. And of course, what I said, it's important, create inside that space. And when one is able to actually maintain clarity and grow that discernment and light inside oneself, also when is around other people, other situations that might seem crazy or whatever, that's a sign that one is transcending what has been and is no longer at the mercy of this reality, of its rules and its limitations. So that's already a sign that somebody is starting to free him or herself and transcend. And what is actually transcendence? Transcendence is more than just letting go of what has been. It's also incorporating the essence of what has been valuable until now, that you take with you and moving forward to the next level. So it's kind of like a synthesis of what has been. You take what's useful and valuable that can be further explored into the next level with a different awareness, with a wider, more energy, which means that can be expressed in a wider way, and rather impossible to understand from a lower mind. But that's what transcendence is. So yes, we let go of the old reality, but at the same time we extract what's been valuable. So accessing truth is not just about, okay, I have to completely remove myself and become, as I said, a caveman and look like a caveman and whatever. And that's it. That's the only way, and that's the most, how should I put, a lot of people think that that's the only way to be spiritual, and it's a mistake. But as I said, this comes from a time where all the spiritual teachings, as I said, they come from a time when things were simpler and reality looked in a different way than it looks today. And like I said before, time is accreting energy. So the more time passes, actually, we're going on that spiral of accretion. So therefore, in each moment, we actually have more energy. Therefore, the reality changes. Having more energy available, there's more energy to explore a concept, or also get new ideas and new concepts in the mix, and make it even more complex and more complex and more complex. So keep in mind that if you think that it's like, okay, I really want to have access to these things, one is about your codes, the second is about, like, yeah, if it's in your path, it will be there for sure. Even if it's not now, you're at the beginning of the journey. It can be this scenario as well. You might not be interested at all in the beginning of your life about those things, because you're not meant to, because you're meant to go in a different, I say, direction to learn this and that, and you come back with a different awareness. So there's no right or wrong, but it's limited to think, or like wrong to think that that's the only way, and you have to be somehow a complete, not just a monk, but like a complete isolated being. Yes, you can create that space around you to create, to help you eliminate the noise in your life, but once you transcend the noise actually inside yourself, and when you become stronger and stronger, you start to dissolve the noises also on the outside because of what you're doing on the inside. So that's how the reality on the outside transforms and transcends, because of the continual work that one does inside. Yeah, so keep that in mind as well. See you next time. Ciao. To work with, as in like during this period, all of the things that work for me in the winter time.